Though despite getting hated on for the last few sequels, the Saw franchise managed to get a bit of redemption with number 6 in 2009. Now prepare yourselves because the game has come full circle. Get ready as I review Saw 6. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a re review of the 2009 horror flick Saw 6, released by Lionsgate for Twisted Pictures, directed by Kevin Greutert, in its directorial debut, written by Patrick Milton and Marcus Dunstan. Featuring returning stars like Tobin Bell and Costas Mandylor, plus Betsy Russell, Mark Rolston, Pierre Outerbridge, and Shawnee Smith. This is the sixth installment of the franchise and takes place after the events of Saw 5. Similar to that, it maintains the focus on the posthumous effects of the Jigsaw killer, John Kramer, and the progression of his successor, Detective Lieutenant Mark Hoffman. The plot follows insurance executive William Easton, who must complete a series of deadly games set up by Hoffman in order to rescue his employees and family. Meanwhile, the FBI comes to suspect that Agent Pierre Strom, who was framed by Hoffman as being Jigsaw's successor, was not actually Jigsaw's accomplice, and reopens the investigation, drawing Hoffman into motion to protect his secret identity. The film was released on October 23rd, 2009. While unlike the last four films, this film got mixed reviews. Though it was also the lowest grossing film in the franchise at that time, but it was still considered a financial success given its low budget. Now, if you haven't seen my reviews, or should I say re-reviews of the other films, click on the card right there and that'll take you to the playlist and you can catch what you might have missed or see them again if you'd like. Alright then, let's get on with the story. Predatory lenders Eddie and Simone are locked in head harnesses with screws aimed at their temples and have 1 minute each to each cut flesh from their bodies and weigh the scale in their favor to survive. Eddie, who is overweight, slices several chunks of fat from his stomach but is killed after someone chops off her arm and tips the scale before the timer expires. The game is observed by Mark Hoffman, who has just escaped from the trap that killed FBI agent Pierre Strom. He then uses Strom's severed hand to plant his fingerprints at the scene. The police and FBI agent Dan Erickson investigate alongside FBI agent Lindsay Perez, whose survival was concealed by Erickson for her protection. During Eddie's autopsy, Dr. Hefner reveals that the blade used to cut the puzzle piece from his remains is the same blade used years earlier on Seth Baxter. Perez and Erickson reopened the investigation and analyzed the videotape found at the scene. Hoffman arrives at Jill Tuck's clinic and demands 5 envelopes containing photographs of the following game's test subjects from the box left to her in John Kramer's last request. The game involves health insurance executive William Easton and his associates, whose company's dubious business policy turned down their clients' coverage for medical treatment, one of them being John Kramer. After Hoffman abducts them to an abandoned zoo, William and his janitor Hank are suspended in chains with large metal vices that will crush their bodies each time they breathe in their oxygen mask. The vice kills Hank, and William proceeds to his other 3 tests to unlock the remaining bomb shackles from his limbs. The second test at an aquarium forces William to save his middle aged secretary, Addie, over his file clerk, Ellen, who hangs to death from a barbed wire noose. At the boiler room, William releases his lawyer, Debbie, who attacks him to retrieve a key inside his body and unlock a spear gun attached to her harness. He fights her off until the device kills her. William's final test involves his 6 subordinates chained to a rotating roundabout where he is only able to save 2 of them from a mounted shotgun. The game is viewed by mother Tara with her teenage son Brent, and news journalist Pamela Jenkins from two opposite animal enclosures below the observation room. Well, now I'm going to just go ahead and advance to the final act and the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video right now. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen this movie already, please continue. Okay, you've been warned. During the game, Hoffman is called away by Erickson to the audio lab after obtaining the videotape. Erickson, now aware of Strom's demise, confronts Hoffman after discovering the abnormalities found in Strom's fingerprints at the time of his death. When Hoffman's voice is unscrambled from the tape, he kills Erickson, Perez, and a technician. Hoffman returns to the observation room and finds the letter he wrote to Amanda Young, who indirectly instigated Cecil Adams' robbery at Jill's clinic that resulted in her miscarriage. Hoffman used this knowledge to blackmail Amanda into killing Dr. Lynn Denlon. The letter was found by Pamela and given to Jill, who then uses it to ambush Hoffman. Jill, who had the remaining contents from her box, including a 6 envelope containing Hoffman's photo, restrains him and locks a modified reverse bear trap to his head, posthumously fulfilling John's will to test Hoffman after his death. William reaches the end of his path and enters the cages where he reunites with Pamela, who is his sister. He is confronted by Tara and Brent, the widow and son of Harold Abbott, a former client who succumbed to his heart disease after William denied his medical request. John's videotape informs Tara to decide William's fate by using the lever in her cell connecting to tanks of hydrofluoric acid from each cage. As William and Pamela try to persuade the family, an enraged Brent pulls the lever, releasing a platform of needles that kills William by injecting acid into his body. Yikes. After Jill leaves, Hoffman breaks his wrist to free himself and gets out of the trap just as it activates, ripping open his right cheek in the process. End of story, or should I say, game over. So, what did I think of Saw 6? Well, I will say this is a little bit better over the other two, but don't get me wrong. Now, despite the film may not have made as much as the other 5 films did, the film only made 69 million on its worldwide on its $11 million budget. But however, it still became a success. It lost the top slot at the box office to, well, what put found footage horror films on the map, Paranormal Activity. However, its reviews were much more decent and what have you. Rotten Tomatoes has a score of 39, saying it won't earn the franchise many new fans, but the film is a surprising step up from for what has become an intricately grisly annual tradition. I absolutely do agree on that. Metacritic has a score of 30, and Audiences Poll by Cinema Score gave us a B. Owen Gleiberman for Entertainment Weekly said that this film is the thinnest, draggiest, and most tediously preachy of the Saw films. It's the first one that's more or less consumed by backstory, which is to say, it's one of those hollow franchise placeholders in which far too many fragments from the previous sequels keep popping up in flashbacks. Well, that's understandable. Continued. If your goal is to do a quick study for a round of Saw trivial pursuit, then this may be the movie for you. If you're looking to be jolted into fear or queasy laughter, skip this sequel and hope that the producers get their sick act together next time. Variety wrote, squeezing another pint of blood from its torture porn corpus, Lionsgate lays again with Saw 6, a film so frighteningly familiar it could well be called Saw It Already. At least the requisite moralism is more playful than pious in this edition. Presumably owing to director Kevin Grutter's work as editor of all 5 previous Saw picks, the film's juggling of chronology is the franchise's best. IGN gave this 3 out of 5 in their score and said in the review said, while the film certainly offers a redemption for the series and the promise of a coming power struggle for Jigsaw's legacy, the Saw 7 will no doubt mark the time to either shake things up or watch this franchise get the axe. Well, that's all the reviews I want to talk about. There's too many others. Well, I'm going to say it's kind of a little bit of a mixed bag, but I will say it does manage to redeem itself a little. Yeah, it does. It may be, that may be. It may have a lot of flashbacks, but overall, I found the film to be pretty fair and what have you. But even so, it proved to be a little good, with especially with its traps. The roundabout one was probably my favorite of them all because that was pretty creative. So even so, I found that to be the best one. They have Charlie Clouser once again back to do the score, and he does a great job again. I think he did just as good a job as the others. Tobin Bell returns as Jigsaw, or John Kramer. At least, unlike the last film, we get to see a little more of him. We do get to hear the voice coming from Billy the Puppet again. Yeah, which I'm sorry I never had to mention that character much. I apologize for that. Anyway, Costas Mandylor is back as Hoffman. He's still a good one. Mark Rolston as Erickson. He's good. Betsy Russell as Jill. Yeah. Shawnee Smith returns as Amanda in some flashbacks. It was it was good to have her for a little bit. Pierre Outerbridge played William, and Athena Carcass played Agent Perez. Oh, not too bad. But anyway, there's lots of others and what have you, and I'm gonna say they're not completely that bad, completely. We do see a little bit of a flashback to Timothy's scene in the third film where he gets hooked up to the thing and really snaps his bones, which I had failed to point out that trap was called the Rack. Yeah. But anyway, I found Saw 6 to be a fairly decent one. Maybe still not great though, but at least a little bit of a redemption over the previous ones. Anyway, the next year they would release Saw 3D, which aka Saw the Final Chapter, which they would easily redeem themselves despite getting a ton of hate and what have you. They would eventually make a comeback with that. But anyway, Saw 6, it's a little bit of a big improvement over the other two. But would I recommend it? Again, as I've said before, only give it a one time watch if you're a hardcore completionist. If you've got what it takes to even watch these films. Okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. What did you think of Saw 6? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Now, everyone, if you saw my out there reaction earlier, I saw the new film Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Well, since that's gotten so many views already, I am going to have to apologize. I'm going to be postponing Escape Room now. So that means I'm going to have to postpone that and the second one. If you read in my comment on Saw 4, that I'm going to postpone that film in place of a spoiler-free review of Weapons. So tomorrow you will get my spoiler-free review of Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, and then on Tuesday it'll be Weapons. Okay? Just thought you all want to know that. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, you may want to check out some of these other Fright Fest. In the upper left-hand corner, check out my review of Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight. Or you can go to the upper right-hand corner and see the film that started off for this franchise from the director of the original Saw, James Wan, and that's The Conjuring. Or if you would like a more recent film, check out my recent spoiler-free review of the new I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot from this past year. And the bottom right-hand corner is a button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.